Hello and welcome into episode 3 of Royal Bettors. Today is Wednesday, October 14th, 2021, and I'm Jaric alongside my good friend Jake Elder19. You see the little at there. And we're going to break down the NHL betting slate for you today for October 14th. And there's quite a few games to go, about here. A lot of them I'm going to pass on, and there's also a few I got a couple plays on.
Indeed, yeah. I have plays for the game, the line, over under, but then some games I just sat out because I don't feel like touching them. But I got some goal scoring props too, and we'll get into it all.
Yeah, and if you like what you hear throughout the show, be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at Royal Bettors. Again, our personal Twitters are in our little, box. You see that there when you're watching the show. It's there in red. And yeah, give us a like on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts because we always want to be interactive with you guys. And before we get into tonight's slate, yesterday, everyone around, at least the people we, associate with in the betting world, we're struggling. I'll say I went 0-7 yesterday. Like it happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna put our records at the bottom there. I'm 5-9.
1-10. Take that 1-10 so lightly, please. Please,
Yeah,
please, 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 please.
it's we're I don't know. I think we're trying
I
to
know
live in the
some real
past.
sharp cappers that went like 0-6 yesterday too.
Yeah, we're
I
just
was upset, but like I wasn't upset because like I know I'm not alone.
I feel like we're just living in the past of last season and got to realize it's a new season. New, you know, teams are all
I'm
different
getting my
now.
feet
They're not
wet
really
still. We're getting
different,
ready. We're still getting into the swing of things.
but for my 5-9, I mean, 3 of them are live bets. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
really doing much better myself, but I like the live bets because I watch the game and I can see the
He's
vibe.
always sitting there with his computer.
Yeah, I'm sitting there 24/7. I have the odds rolling on my screen. I'm watching every game. Like, I just get that vibe, and that's when I pull the trigger. And I'm 3-0 on live bets, so that's a good record there.
I got a stinker of a record. You want to talk about stinkers? The Winnipeg Jets yesterday. They showed up in the shot department, but man,
Just
Hellebuck
must
there
not
kind
have
of giving
been
up four.
quality shots.
Yeah.
I guess weren't there. I don't know.
Nikolai Ehlers 8 shots. I know you liked him to score, and of course he couldn't
Yeah,
bury
but they
one of them.
can score, but it's all right.
Yeah,
I
Winnipeg,
got
they're gonna
five
get Scheifele back from suspension. Anaheim, for some reason, a lot of money came in on Anaheim there, and I just didn't really see why. And I still don't really have a strong opinion on that, other than it was just a dud from Winnipeg.
Yeah, I couldn't say much. I mean, I was on Ducks plus 1.5. So
John Gibson, I'll give him credit there. John Gibson's fantastic. I don't know how long he'll stay in Anaheim, but that's a top
I
10
think
goalie who's stuck on a bottom five team.
he's a guy I want to ride every time he's playing. I don't see the Ducks getting that blown out. And I mean, yesterday you said they don't have goal scorers, and I guess that's all they really have. I don't know. I don't really like their team at all, but they got young core and a veteran core, so I don't know.
Yeah, and then Edmonton, we had the slow start. I like the first period over there. We didn't really get that. We had a late goal from Zach Hyman, but not enough to get us over the 1.5. And I thought it would come out like gangbusters. Definitely a goal in the first 10 minutes, but that was not the case at all. The pairing of Keith and Cece actually worked out all right, and I thought that would have been blown up very quickly, but we'll see how many games that one lasts.
Yep.
I know. Do you have any plays in that Vancouver Edmonton game? I don't think you did.
I mean, I had Hughes for over a point, and
And that
I did
catch.
hit. And I was talking to
Nice.
somebody else on Twitter about it being on the power play, and unfortunately, Oliver Ekman-Larsson got that point, or that goal on the power play right in the same spot. But I for the other 3 games with
The
Montreal,
Blackhawks. Oh
well, I
yeah,
was gonna
Montreal
say
too. Yeah.
Montreal Rangers and Caps. I had the first period over for all 3 of those. I got 2 out of 3, and like I was trying to explain, it's the round robin thing on FanDuel, so you get like multiple. It's basically putting one big parlay into like multiple little ones. So I cashed some money on that because I got 2 out of 3 there. So that was pretty good.
Hawks though, dude. That was the worst start imaginable. Your
Yeah,
guys collide into each other, and of all people, Jack Johnson gets a breakaway and backhands one right roof over
yeah.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Erase that first 5 minutes, and the Hawks are in it the rest of the game. I mean,
They
we
are.
competed, And I mean,
They
once
got
again,
outshot pretty heavily early on, though. That first period, as a whole, we really didn't touch them. I'm gonna say we. I say it because
I
we're
don't,
fans.
because you asked me, like, is it the Blackhawks or is it the Avalanche? I'm like, I really felt like that was straight up the Avalanche. Those guys were flying around the
Yeah,
ice.
dude.
I mean,
Without McKinnon
literally,
too.
they looked so incredibly fast to where it's like I didn't even feel like the Blackhawks' fault. It just felt like they were ready. Like they were just
And the
waiting to
Hawks
get
haven't
on the
seen
ice.
any speed like that through the preseason and most of last
Yeah.
season. Tampa,
But
probably the only team up.
I don't know if Colorado will ever look that fast, dude. They were every player, bottom team, bottom six, top six, all of them. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
all those losers, and
but
then
Kubalik anytime hit, and I wish
yes,
I would
I
have bet him
forgot
on the
about
power
that.
play.
Kubalik anytime did hit,
You
so we're
literally
happy about
said it
that.
when I
And Zach
talked,
Hyman, I should have mentioned that when I mentioned Hyman scored late in the first period. I also said him for an anytime score on the show yesterday, so those two guys came through.
and when we were talking about Kubalik, I'm pretty sure you mentioned him as like Mr. Power Play or whatever you
Yeah,
said,
that's exactly.
and that's
It's
literally
how
what
he
he
scored. Is
scored on.
exactly how I imagined him scoring
Yep,
from the
every
right
time.
dot.
So just a missile right in, like
Yeah,
it's good. We need to. I think we need to look more towards him scoring on the power play for the extra plus 100 added to him or whatever it is.
I figured we'd talk about this team last to segue into today's slate and the Rangers, man. Like I get that they play Georgiev because it was a back-to-back situation, and they probably obviously wanted Shesterkin to go at home, and I mean they played all right in that first period. It was just Washington. You can't give them power plays, and that's what gave them the lead. And then they went up 2-0, and then sure enough, right away it was 3-0 because the momentum
Yeah,
carried, and then they let the game get away from them.
yeah, definitely was. I don't know, something to watch. Maybe it's the home crowd and the home opener. Like,
Yeah, Caps at home. I mean, that place is always rocking. Ovechkin, everybody was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen with him? He was questionable. He scores 2 goals. I mean, we're not
yeah,
gonna doubt
passes up.
Ovechkin anymore. If he's
He's
in the
now
lineup,
number.
he's a difference maker. Why do I
Yeah,
even
now he's
think that
number
he could have
5,
not been?"
right? Number 5 in goals.
Yeah, he passed Marcel Dion.
Yep. Next
Up
up,
next is Brett Hall, according to Kenny Albert on the broadcast last night.
I was.
Speaking of, what'd you think of TNT and ESPN? I don't think we talked about that on either of the shows.
I don't know. You're more into that, looking at the, different
I thought both
channels
were
like that.
really, really good, except I just don't like the ESPN aerial camera angle. That's just me. And
Yeah,
I
no,
like I don't even I
well,
never
I don't
liked it
think
during the
anybody
Winter
does.
Classics and stuff.
And no, I don't think anybody likes that camera angle. You can't. You feel like you're either playing a
That's
video
just
game
minor.
or like people talk about it's hard to track a puck. That makes it 10 times harder with
It
the
makes
camera
it makes
moving.
it
Like
10 times worse.
the camera's
The
moving
only
and
thing
the
I liked
puck's
about it
moving.
is you could see the breakouts. It's almost like you were in the arena to an extent.
True. If the camera didn't move, I would have been fine. But the camera moving screwed everything up because like I'm trying to watch
Right.
a puck moving and then the camera's moving another and just. I'll talk about Montreal because I mean we were both on Montreal, but I was also had them scoring a lot more goals and it just didn't come
I thought
through.
Montreal played fine. I don't
They
think that was
played
a
really
bad
good.
pick.
Campbell played really good. They had a lot of block shots. Freaking David Camp had played a great penalty kill, like former
Toronto's
Hawk.
improved
So
their defense a lot, and Jack Campbell, he's a good goalie. I just when I previewed it, I don't think that he's gonna go on runs of 7, 8, 9 in a row like he did last year.
yeah.
So that was yesterday's slate. Let's hop on over to today's slate. I mentioned the New York Rangers. They're gonna host the Dallas Stars tonight. It's the home opener for the Rangers. Dallas's first time hitting the ice this year. And this is the spot I looked at. Now, granted, the goaltending situation for the Rangers is flip flop from what I thought it would be for over a month. Now, Shesterkin's going to get the start and goal, but I've really liked the first period over in this one for a really long time. And my thought process behind it was a back to back for the Rangers. And the Stars have a ton of firepower up front, even with Radulov out. They got a couple other pieces out. Robertson being one of them, the key rookie sensation last year. He's not going to be playing tonight. I think
Yeah.
first period over, they're going to come out flying. I think the Rangers also, they're going to want to start a lot better than they did last night. I could see the Rangers probably scoring early, maybe even go up 2-0, and Dallas comes back the other way.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to be fireworks the whole time.
I see Dallas going down. I don't know when it'll be, but I see them going down 2 goals and making some comeback. So with that being said, my bet on this game is going to be the over 6 or over 5.5 actually. On DraftKings, it's over 5.5 minus 120. FanDuel
It's
over.
last I saw it was what is that right now? Because I saw over 6 plus 100 on DK.
I just bet it like 20 minutes ago. Oh,
All
now
right,
it's
so we'll take that. I look like
You're
an
right.
idiot.
It did move. Well, I got
Okay,
minus 120 over five and a
I'm
half.
mad tomorrow. Real quick, if you find a 5.5 for Philly and Vancouver tomorrow, I'll take it because I love that. And I only see sixes at the moment, and I hate pushes. It bugs the hell out of
Yeah,
me.
back
So.
to today. But yeah, I really like the over because I mean, you were talking about the Rangers are going to come out swinging. I think they're going to want to be back in it. Stars still have that
Right
goal
back
scoring
at it
aspect,
again.
and I don't think they have their goalie figured it. Like probably Ottinger starting tonight, right? I don't.
Holpe.
Oh, really?
Holpe
Okay,
confirmed in
well
that.
that makes me even more excited about
So
over six
Holpe
then.
versus Shesterkin. Yeah, right.
I I'm
I've
huge
given up on
on
Holpe.
I'm huge on it at least pushing. I see 4-2 Rangers. That's my prediction for that game, but I'm hoping it hits the over with the way teams are playing now. They pull the goalie at 5 minutes and have no fear. So over or unders are hard to look at unless it's a 2-1 game going into the third, and then it just coasts at 2-1, 2-2. So
Yeah. I'm looking also at the Rangers money line. Now the line's probably gotten away from the moment I got this, and I wanted to tweet it out. I tweeted out the game we'll talk about next early last night. I got Rangers minus 120 on the money line. I think that's good value for them. I think they will bounce back from last night's debacle. They got their starting netminder, and that they definitely, I think, are looking more forward to tonight's game with the reason that they went with Georgiev yesterday. I think they're more locked in to win at MSG. The home faithful's back. This is going to be the first time they played in front of a full crowd in over a year now. They haven't done that since early 2020.
yeah, I'm liking it. I liked it too. I had it written down, but I ended up crossing it out. Don't know why. I just didn't have full feeling about it, but I do like it. Lean it
I
or
do
whatever.
also, well, I got player props for later. I like one player on this team to score a goal tonight. We'll get to that in a bit.
All right. I
All
also had
right.
one too, so
So
we'll get to that
Jake's
at
on
the
the
end.
over. I'm on the first period over and the Rangers money line.
Mhm.
Transitioning now over into Montreal at the Buffalo Sabres. Now, maybe this is a trap. Maybe, maybe not. But the Sabres minus 134 on the money line, and they're plus 104. They're plus 100 now in regulation. You're never gonna get this value against the Buffalo Sabres, like almost at all this season. Like the only time you might see something like this again is Arizona playing them, Anaheim playing them, maybe
But I'm
San Jose.
confused why it's like that.
I
Like,
don't
are they?
think the books like Sam Montembeau, who's going to be in net for Montreal. He had a decent preseason, and he's not a bad netminder.
Whether
He
he
was
did or
okay with the
didn't,
Panthers.
I think the Canadians are scoring at least 3. Like, and I don't
I think
see
the
Buffalo.
Canadians, especially in that first period yesterday, I would even look maybe Montreal in the first period tonight, but I'm not
So
going to bet
yeah,
that.
I
They
actually
came out really well, especially in the first 10 minutes. I thought Josh Anderson looked great yesterday. I thought the team came out ready to pound Toronto into the third row. I mean, I was listening to the game more than watching it, but I mean, just I heard Anderson's name a lot. That's why I bring it up. But I love the energy they brought early on. I think if Buffalo falls behind early, they're just like, oh, here we go again.
yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
know we're
sure it's their
holding
first game and maybe they want to win, but I mean,
I know
obviously
we're
they want
holding
to win.
like player props to the end, but like I have a lot for this game, so I kind of just want to cover them now. But so I have Habs money line and Habs in regulation. I got it at minus 135 and then plus 105. Put those bets down. But last night I was looking at it and I just felt like it was a good bet last year in the playoffs going into it. It was Caulfield over 2.5 shots, like right around minus 115,
Nice.
120. And so I saw it yesterday. It was a minus 120. I was like, should I do it? And I was like, I'll just probably watch the game. I don't want to,
What's the
use
line
that.
at now?
It's at minus 130.
Okay.
So I did bet
Yeah.
it. And last night, it literally sticks with me because I was like, oh, I want to do it, but I stayed away. They were talking about whatever was happening. Caulfield's got the puck, and they're like, oh, Caulfield's got a pair of shots so far in the game, and then he shoots one, and they're like, make that 3. And then I'm like, dang, like they literally said it. And I was like, that would be it cashing right there. I would have got like pretty hyped. So I was like, hey, dang, okay, so we got 3 shots. And I think tonight they're going to put up a bunch of shots on, who's Sabres? netminder tonight?
Craig Anderson's getting the start in
Oh yeah,
goal.
I knew that because I don't know why I asked that because I literally have over for his saves tonight. Yeah,
All
over
right.
28.5 saves for Anderson, minus 114. Like I said, I think the Canadians are going to put up
Good
shots.
luck. Hopefully he doesn't get pulled.
I hope it's not that bad.
All right.
I'm just picturing the Canadians putting up a lot of shots. So
I'm
with
not
that,
gonna lie. This is so weird. I'm gonna go back to last night for a second. So I bet the Hawks, obviously, right? But in fantasy, I have Kevin Lankinen, and I had him in my lineup. Right, but I'm gonna put him on my bench just in case he has to come into relief because I had that weird feeling that it could be a disaster from the start. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. I'm over here like, dang.
yeah, he didn't come in, but it was the disaster. Yeah, they couldn't pull Fleury in his first game. That would just be such a
No.
bad look, no
Yeah, I
matter
thought he
what.
was fine yesterday. He wasn't the problem at all.
Yeah, no, it wasn't him. They were literally just flying around every player on the ice. All right.
All right. Anyways, Montreal, Buffalo. We both like the Canadians in regulation and their money line. Jake likes Craig Anderson over 28.5 saves. Did I miss anything?
Caulfield
Caulfield,
over
2.5
over
shots.
2.5 shots, and I have him also to score anytime
Okay.
because I and I don't know. He's never faced Buffalo yet, and Buffalo sucks. So why wouldn't I pick him to score?
Like seriously, guys. Like it could be a trap. Maybe it is, but like plus money to beat him in regulation. Like you're never gonna see that again. Like it's going to be very rare. And Montreal's not a bad team whatsoever. It's definitely this price because it's a back-to-back first of the season, and we don't know who Montembeau is.
Dude, no.
Woof woof. All right. So we'll
Um,
bark. You got one
well,
thing left?
with us talking about it so much, I'm leaning towards the over, but
A lot of people are on the over. I will
uh,
suggest that. I
because
know a
we're
lot of
talking about
people
it
who
being
are
a
on the
trap
over.
game, like that Tampa Penguins game. Like when that line came out for Tampa, they were like minus 150. I was like, Tampa's gonna destroy them. Line ended minus 250, and they lose 6-2. Over hits, they lose like trap game, whatever. But I don't know if I'll be betting it, but I do like it now.
All right. So from Buffalo, we'll head a little bit north over to Ottawa, and Toronto Maple Leafs will be heading there to take on the Ottawa Senators. Now, look out for the Sens in this one. Now, there's favorites around plus 150 last I saw them on the money line. Now, Leafs are on back-to-back. Mrazek's going to get the start in that opposing dang, why did I lose track of who's in that for Ottawa? Let me scroll down Daily Faceoff real quick.
Joey
I just drew a
Decord,
blank on his name. But Matt Murray's out with an illness. He's day to
Joey
day.
Decord.
No, it right here it says Anton Forsberg, but I don't believe he's getting the start. Philip Gustafson's the backup. All right,
Oh, good.
well, we just know that the second string for Ottawa is in that. I'm sorry I'm drawing a blank on his name. That's so bad on me right now. But I mean, look out for the Sens. They could have, a lot of speed. Toronto on that second and back to back, still without Matthews. Now, I don't think Toronto has a whole lot of speed, and we saw that yesterday. They won a lot of defensive games, and that's the reason why I would say look out for the Sens. I don't think Kachuk's going to play, but he just signed, and their defensive core isn't that great. So without Kachuk and the defensive core just kind of being bland, I would stay away from Ottawa. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they give the Leafs this. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my only feel for this game.
Yeah, I
I'm
totally
not betting
agree.
it
But
whatsoever.
I literally have zero. I have the game Leafs versus Ottawa and nothing written with it. I couldn't find anything that I liked, like no goal score, no props, nothing. I just couldn't find anything. And Ottawa against the Leafs scare me because Ottawa can win any of those games. Like last year, I just felt
They
like
gave them fits, especially early on in games. They jumped ahead early, and Toronto had to find a way.
the only thing I would lean for is the over, but it's at 6.5, so I am not touching
Wasn't
that.
wasn't there a game last year Toronto led like 5-1, and
Yeah.
Ottawa came all the way back? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude,
Do you
yeah,
remember that?
Ottawa and the Leafs are just unpredictable. But without Brady Kachuk, it's going to be tough. But they're without Matthews, so what's the difference?
All right. So
Um,
neither of us
nothing
like
on that
anything
game.
in that game. All right.
Not
Now
really.
Arizona and Columbus. I wrote pass for this game, but I do really like Columbus probably in regulation or even on the puck line. But it's just I'm scared because I let the line get away from me. I liked Columbus straight up on the money line when it was minus 135 because again, like Arizona, teams aren't really gonna get that kind of price just straight up on the money line against them throughout the season. And the factor is they're gonna be honoring Matisse Kavlenkis. Sorry if I butcher that pronunciation, but he's the goaltender who passed away for the Columbus Blue Jackets over the summer. And I think the team's going to want to come out and have an emotional game in a good way and, dominate in all aspects. The fans get the fans going. And I think Columbus is probably the only way I would look in this game if I were to bet it.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a tough game to bet on. Like my friend texted me, he's like, what do you like tomorrow? Blah blah. And he's like, hey, you got any bets on the Degenerates game? Because like that's the game. Like I told him, I go, I mean, if it was the only game on the slate, yeah, I'd bet a lot of stuff on it, but it's not, and I'm gonna stay away from it. So that's my take.
When we get into the player props section of the show, there's a lot I put out on Twitter at Jaric_rubel11 that looks interesting for me, especially if you're in the party that thinks Columbus might win by 3 or 4. So stay tuned for that. All right, so we're both passing on that game. I do lean Columbus in regulation, even on the puck line. So yeah, Arizona,
right.
Columbus. That's that.
You going
Pittsburgh, Florida.
Okay. I was making
What
sure
were you
you
gonna
didn't
say?
skip over it. I was just making sure you didn't skip over it because you told me before. But we're good. Pittsburgh, Florida.
Pittsburgh and Florida. All right, now I'm gonna pass on this game. I did like Florida in regulation, but after what I saw from Pittsburgh, even though that was probably more dud from Tampa, I'm scared. Plain and simple, I'm scared. I don't want anything to do with this game. Their record without Sid and Gino really is crazy. It's what, like 32-16-6 without them. Like, I mean, they're really good. And recently
Wow.
with Mike Sullivan, like it's like 14-5 or something like that. Like it's decent. So I'm gonna stay away from this. There's just no feel for it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't like it, don't bet it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. The one thing I did like was a lot. I figured there'd be a lot of goal scoring. It's just my feel. Her, yeah, Bobrovsky's in now, right?
I have
Bobrovsky.
not seen who's been confirmed.
Yeah, it said he was playing on DFS.
Okay.
So, and on fantasy. Um, so Bobrovsky's in net. He could always be a hit or miss, and so my thought process is the over. But once again, it's at 6.5, and I can't bet 6.5. So I'll stay away from that. But I do have a bet on Florida 3-way money line, like you said in regulation. I can't see Pittsburgh doing that again, but who knows?
I can't either, man. But
But the Panthers are at
these
home. There's
opening games, man. Everything's just been so clunky.
the
uh,
Panthers. The Panthers are hungry. People know that they got to know
yeah.
that everyone's hyping them up. Like,
I say I'm staying away from it, even though I like Florida in regulation. And once we get to the props and DFS, you'll see why I obviously like Florida. What's up,
yeah,
Earl Sports Bets? Nick, Tim, hope you guys are doing good.
you know
Saw
the
your guys'
names.
videos
Crazy.
over Giants and Dodgers, man. I know it's baseball, but that's going to be a good one tonight. A lot of hockey
Good
on my bag.
guys.
Do or die baseball, nothing beats it.
Literally,
Maybe
yeah.
Game 7 hockey beats
There's
it.
so
Sorry.
much sports on tonight, dude. There's so many
Isn't it
games.
Thursday night football too? Oh, there's
Yeah,
a ton.
and a lot of people are
Wow.
hyping up the Eagles right now, and I don't because Brady's like messed up thumb or whatever it is, his
I think
finger.
it's funny how last year Brady plays Nick Foles on a Thursday night. Now the next Thursday he has to play the team that Foles beat him with in the Super Bowl, even though Foles isn't there. I don't know. That's just what I thought when I saw that
Yeah,
schedule.
some weird thoughts that you have. Yeah, man, I feel you. But back to hockey.
All right, so you like the over? You're saying
But
in
I don't.
Florida,
Well,
Pittsburgh.
I don't like. No,
Did
I
you
just
bet
like
it?
high scoring. I'm not betting it because
Okay.
it's 6.5, and I don't bet
Okay.
6.5.
Yeah. Right.
So for that fact is I like the game to get to 6 goals, but there's no betting. I'm just talking. But I did bet Florida 3-way money line. I don't see. I don't. If Pittsburgh does that again, I'll be shocked. But Florida's gonna be hungry. They're at home. Like they'll be good.
All right, so Florida in regulation for Jake. Oh, that's right. Nick's gonna be at perfect segue. Look at him. He's not even in the show. He's just in the chat, and he knows how to make this a seamless transition. The New York Islanders at the Carolina Hurricanes. Nick Earl's gonna be at the game. He said, "Your thoughts on my Isles tonight?" Now, I don't exactly have a feel for this game. I do think it's gonna be highly competitive, and maybe the draw is gonna be a play. Now, if I were to have to pick a side, I would lean the Islanders because I do trust Ilya Sorokin and that defensive group and Trotz's system a lot more than the kind of new look Carolina Hurricanes team. They're going to have Freddie Anderson in goal, who's not someone I exactly trust. But maybe not being in Toronto, he doesn't have the pressure of being in a major market. So we'll see how he plays there. But I think this is going to be a pretty close and competitive game. I'm going to pass on it, but I'd probably lean draw if you had to make me pick.
Yeah, this year I think Freddie Anderson's gonna play really well for Carolina this year. I think it's gonna feel a lot different than a Toronto team. But for this game specifically, I also don't really have a feel. I like you said, a draw is the go-to if you don't have a feel. Like if you don't know who's gonna win, why wouldn't they just go to overtime and it just gets decided by one goal? And both teams are good defensively. Both teams are good offensively. Both play hard. Those are two playoff teams right there, like strong playoff teams. So it's like I couldn't get a feel what's gonna happen, but I do have a player prop. I don't know if I should do it now or
Let's
later.
save it. We're almost at the end of the slate here. We got a
All
couple
right.
more games to talk about. We're almost there. Stick around for the player props because I actually think we got some good ones today. All right. So we don't really like anything in the New York and Carolina
Yeah,
game. We do lean
unfortunately.
to the draw. I'm
Sorry,
sure that's
everyone.
like plus
But
350. Yeah, sorry, Nick Earl. I do hope you enjoy your time at the game.
it's gonna
I'm
be a
sure the
good
fans in
game.
Raleigh are going to be
Yeah.
rocking because that fan base all of a sudden picked it up and they're
Yeah,
almost as loud as Nashville and Vegas.
this is the type of game where I don't have a feel, but I want to watch it because it's gonna be a good
Right?
game.
It's going to
Yeah.
be a good hockey game. Exactly. All right. So one last game here in the 6 o'clock window, and then we'll finally get to something past 7 p.m. So the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Detroit Red Wings. The only way you can look at this game, I think, personally for me, is everywhere in the first period. Now, the fun fact, and I know you brought this to my attention, and I know a couple other people on Twitter started to catch on to this. I hope we're not jinxing it. Knock on wood, a couple times, because this is probably going to end up being part of my best bet. Tampa Bay has only allowed 3 first period goals over their last 20 games. That's crazy, right? Like I think that's
Mm, that-
a really good trend. Like, and most of those are playoff games. Like, I mean, I know playoff hockey is not exactly high
Yeah.
scoring, but like, I mean, that's locked down. Like, they're playing hard, and they even did it against Pittsburgh the other night. So I'm gonna, and I think they're definitely gonna want to have a lot better game tonight than what they had over in that home opener against Pittsburgh. So I'm gonna go Tampa Bay in the first period minus a half a goal plus 115, and I'm gonna go the Red Wings first period team total under a half goal minus $1.15. Those are the only ways I'm gonna look
Yeah,
at this game.
I totally like those bets, and I totally agree. And I actually, when I first was going over the slate of games, I wrote Tampa Bay first period money line with like a question mark, and it was plus 105 at the time. And for
Yeah, it went up
somehow it
even.
went down or went up. So I bet it at plus 120 actually, because
Okay.
I agree with it, and somehow it went up in price, which I'll take that. And I wrote first period over question mark again because it was like I don't know. It would have to be Tampa scoring two, but I
See,
don't know.
see that
But
they
get to,
maybe first period over 2 ranks. It's like I think Tampa's definitely getting one. If Detroit ends up breaking that, little trend that I'm talking about here, then the first period over cashes. So I mean, I guess that's what you're feeling. I like Tampa. I think Tampa, honestly, now I'm thinking about it, they might even score 2 goals in the first period. Like they might come out like gangbusters. But Detroit's played Tampa really well as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm on board that Tampa wants the better start. I think that they're going to lead by the first period after the first period by half a goal, and I think they're going to hold Detroit scoreless. Please hold Detroit scoreless. You're
yeah.
muted. Okay.
Sorry, I had to deal with the dogs. Didn't want them, ruining the stream. They're probably gonna start barking now. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna go over anymore. I think it'll end 1-0 Tampa. That's the hopes. I hope Tampa comes out swinging like right away. I say that a lot.
I got to grab a charger. Keep talking.
But I definitely think Tampa will come out and be ready to play for at least a few minutes. I'm hoping they come out like Colorado yesterday and don't make it at all close and just give us this first period win here. But I for some reason also like the full game over. Don't know why again, but like it's hard to take unders. You can't take unders right now.
No,
So
exactly. The
why
way we saw John Cooper pull the goalie
it just
the other
all these
night.
games I'm looking at feel like overs, except for like Islanders Canes for me. But I mean, they all just feel like they're gonna have goals, and the way Tampa played, Detroit can get 2 or 3, and there you go. It's if they get 2, it's over, or it's gonna be close to an over. But if they get 3, I think it's guaranteed over. But I don't know if they'll get 3. Other
Interesting how
than that,
Jeff Blashill has these lines arranged for the Red Wings. I think he's got Bertuzzi on the first line with Larkin and Lucas Raymond. Now, Robbie Fabry, Pius Suter, and Philip Zadina's that second line. Now, I would flip Zadina and Bertuzzi for the sole reason that Fabry, Suter, and Bertuzzi played on a line together in the Gulf Storm in junior hockey, and they were dynamite together. Now, I know it's only game 1, but I would imagine at some point this year that trio will end up coming back together, and I think that's going to be player prop central.
I'm I hear you. I don't got nothing to say. I don't. Sounds like a move to me, but I'm not totally familiar with all the players like that. So, but I'll take
Yep.
that call.
All right.
On to the
So
9 o'clock slate or what?
now
Or
all right. Well, to
7?
recap, Tampa first period minus half a goal, and Detroit did not score a first period goal. Team total under 0.5 minus $1.15. For me, what do you got?
I have Tampa's first period money line or like first period minus a goal and a half, not money line, but minus a goal and a half.
All
And maybe
right.
what is it? Maybe their money line at plus 120. Is their money line at all worth it? Like if they tie, you get you
No,
get
I think that's what we're looking at now. They have it so it's just 3-way. They don't have the straight up first period money line, so it's they have to
oh,
win the
break
period.
it down.
Yeah,
Oh, tie
it's
no
weird.
bet. Hold on, it's here. All right, well we can
You
check this
got it.
out. I'm pulling it up. It's like the tie no bet period. Yeah,
All
minus
right.
235. That's just nuts.
No. All right. So we're going to take our talents over to Music City and hope that the Seattle Kraken can get their first win in NHL history tonight. And that's where I'm leaning.
And yep. I
Yeah,
was
I
gonna
think
say
that
I
they came
agree.
out, even though Vegas took a 3-0 lead, Seattle led in the expected goals. Seattle came out like gangbusters. They took a couple penalties early. And they also had to kill, or Vegas had to kill a couple penalties early too. And I think that gave them a lot of momentum and they took the lead. And then Seattle, I think, just kept their foot on the gas. And I think Nashville doesn't have the speed that Vegas does. I don't think they have the goal scoring that Vegas does. And I think if you break the seal early with them, I think Seattle's going to be in business to play with a lead.
Yep, I totally agree. I mean, it's the Preds home opener, but I think they're just a different team. Like they lost a lot of guys. Did they really gain anybody? I know they lost a lot of
No,
few dudes.
they
Yeah,
gained Cody Glass and Fleet Myers. That's about it.
yeah, it's bottom 6 guys right there.
They lost
So
Ryan Ellis. They lost Victor Arvidsson. Pecorine retired.
and
So yeah, some name guys from there aren't there anymore.
so I don't really like Nashville, and I'm also on the Kraken
I'm
money
on
line.
fade Nashville until they showed me that maybe they are like how they were at the second half of last year.
Yeah,
Straight
I
up,
think those.
I don't trust Nashville at all.
Yeah, they I don't know. They kind of remind me of the Wild a little of last year, but not like not good. Like where they can go on a run and like all their guys are just clicking. But I don't see much from them. I'm on the Kraken money line, and I also have Kraken plus 1.5 in a parlay because I just feel like I put it in parlays as like a filler to make the odds go up, and I really feel like they're plus 1.5 is a lock for me tonight. Not betting by itself, but with other things to boost the parlay up for sure. And then I also threw a few dollars on the draw bet for this game. I feels like it has
Okay.
2-2-3-3 written all over it.
And there's the dogs. All right, so when the dogs decide they're gonna come in and say what's up on the show, yeah. So Seattle Kraken money line plus 110 for both of us, and we got one final game here on the slate here on this Thursday, and that is the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Los Angeles Kings. It is the Kings home opener tonight, and To be honest, I'm gonna pass on this game because I do kind of like the Kings to an extent. I simply just don't really like betting Vegas on the road at the moment. I just don't have a good feel for that. I
Very
know they're
true. Very
dynamite at
true.
home. So
100%.
that being said, like I'm interested in this game from a hockey fan perspective, but I from a betting perspective, Vegas games on the road worry me.
Yeah, this seems like a live betting situation for me. I don't know. I feel like if a goal happens early, I'd want to bet the under right away. But like you said, I feel like Vegas at home is like the exact formula that literally happened yesterday. They come out, score a goal right away. Sometime in the second or third period, they just stop playing for a minute and bang, 1 to 2 goals get scored. I feel like it happens every home
It
game.
does.
And then they do come back and win if that brings them down, whatever it happens.
That's the thing.
Vegas,
They normally do come back and
they are
like a
a roller
live bet
coaster
when
team.
down at home, like they're definitely
Yeah, they are
worth
the
a look.
biggest roller coaster team. Bet them to go at least
Like
to
Robin
overtime.
Leonard's 11-1 at home at T-Mobile Arena. Like if they go down at home and Leonard's in that, like I'd honestly think it's worth a lot. You catch him as a dog right away, especially
Yeah,
against like a mediocre team. Go for
but
it.
as when they're away, it's hard to predict because they don't
Yeah.
have that home energy, and that home energy is just different in Vegas. But yeah, I think the under will happen, but I'm not betting it. It's a lean towards the under 5.5, but I will not be betting it.
All right. So there you have it. That is the card for this Thursday in the NHL. And before we get to best bets, we got props and daily fantasy to take care of. Now, I said stick around for the props because we got some good ones, and I think I got some nice, juicy, valued ones. So I'll kick things off with things over in South Beach, the Florida Panthers. I mentioned how I said I did like them in regulation, but I kind of stayed away from that because Pittsburgh, that it just, yeah, I don't know, something about that didn't feel good to me. But I do think that there's going to be goals, like you said, and Sam Bennett's going to be on that line with Jonathan Huberdeau again, and they were dynamite post-trade deadline last year. I think that will continue, and Owen Tippett's going to join him instead of Anthony Duclair this time around. And I like Bennett and Tippett. Bennett plus 250, Tippett plus 270 to find the back of the net tonight. I'll be happy if one of them gets it.
Yeah, I'll hear you on that, and that would be a stack I would do on DFS there, stacking that lineup. But I usually like to look at what line they're going to be out on the ice against mainly. But I'm not with you on this betting. So do you know what line they're against? We'll be against what, Zucker, Rodriguez, and Kapanen.
I'm Coach Q's got the last change. It's whoever Q decides they're going to match up against, man.
Oh well, I mean usually it's second line versus second line, first
I
versus first.
mean, there's no Crosby or Malkin, so I mean, if he's going up against Boyle, sure, Boyle scored last night on that second line or the other night, but I don't think he's got the speed to keep up with any of them. So
Yeah,
good luck.
exactly.
Gensel might
Um,
play. He's a game time decision though.
yeah, I don't have any player props on this game, but I'll go into one. I mean, I talked about
Yeah, just
Caulfield.
give me whatever you got.
I talked about Caulfield with the Habs, but with the Isles Canes, I don't know. It would just be ironic for him to score, but does Kakanename score tonight?
Hey
I
man,
don't know. Putting him on that top line, I looked at Marty
I don't
Natchez. I
know
was
who to
like,
pick from Carolina. Normally, I find which line's trending upwards in that, and I'll wait for them to play a couple games.
I feel yeah. I was gonna bet Marty
I mean,
Natchez
for all I know,
tonight.
it could be Trocheck, and he's going to score like 8 in a row to start.
Yeah, Trocheck's a tank, man. But I was gonna bet Marty Natchez to score because I got that feeling when I saw his name. I'm like, that's my guy right there. But then I look at the lines. I'm like, all right, Kakaname on the top line with Aho and Natchez. It can happen. So, and he's plus 390 on FanDuel. Like, plus 390 is a big, big price. On DraftKings, I
Big
feel it's plus
number.
310. So, yeah, you throw few dollars on him to score anytime and watch the game and enjoy.
Nice. All right. I got one more before I get to the Columbus props that I was talking about. I like Morgan Geeky for the Kraken plus 350. He had a rocket past Leonard,
Mm.
and he had a good game against against Vegas. And I think he's got the legs. I think he's going to have some opportunities playing with Donato and Tanev. I mean, that line was buzzing. 2 goals for that line in game one against Vegas. And I mean, I think it's a good opportunity here. I mean, he was with Carolina last year. He saw Nashville a lot in the playoffs and in that division, so he knows what he's going up against. I think Geeky's a nice play here.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to whoever that guy was on
That was Scott Darling. I don't know who you're not recognizing. Are you talking about the video with Barstool Chief?
that was.
That was Scott Darling. Come
Okay,
on,
I
that's your
didn't.
guy.
Yeah, but
That's
I
your
was not paying.
guy.
Well, actually, my brother's guy, but yeah, I just didn't pay
His
attention to who it
teammates were
was.
geeky. That's why
I
he
was
picked
just
them.
listening. Oh, really? That's so crazy. I guess you're right. Yeah. Well, because of that, I put a few dollars on Geeky to score, and I jokingly said I was texting Jaric, and I was like, Geeky needs to score the next goal, and then he did, and we were like,
And he did. And it was
"Whoa."
a hype one, too.
Yeah, dude, he snapped that so fast. All right, so you got Geeky to score. All right, so this is actually one of my more analyzed plays that I like. With Ellis leaving the Preds, that makes Yossi that main guy for scoring on defense wise, right? And watching that Kraken and Vegas game, yeah, Vegas has a lot more active defensemen, but Petrangelo and Martinez, like they had their opportunities. Haig had a bunch of opportunities. So thinking that the Kraken allowed that many opportunities to defensemen, I think Yossi will get one tonight. So I bet him anytime. It was plus 420 on FanDuel again.
What are his odds for just half a point? Or over half a
Um,
point?
I can pull it up real quick. But
Because I
yeah, I
gotta think
definitely
that it's not worse than minus 125. I think
right.
that might even be a decent look.
But just seeing how active Vegas defensemen were against the Kraken made me really like to have him up there. Let's see. He's not even on here.
No? All right. Well, if your book offers Yossi half a
Oh
point,
wait,
then
I'm
I
looking at the
might go
wrong
with that.
game. Hold on.
Nope. All right.
Hold
Jake's
on there.
looking for me.
Dude, Nashville's not on here at all.
No?
Yeah, not at all. That's why it's not on there.
All
Well,
right. Well, that's
it was
that.
worth
I'll
a try.
try and find it. If I can't
We
find it, then
we
it
talked
is what
about it
it
though.
is.
So if it happens, it happens.
Great. All right. You got anything before I get to my Columbus guys?
I mean, no, you can go to. I mean, I have more player prop. Yeah. Do you want me to go? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just finish off your
I'm
player props and
going.
I'll cap it off.
I'm going back to the window with Braden Point to score. He scores against Detroit. I remember it last year. He would always be on the board playing Detroit. And I'm hoping that what we thought would happen last game completely happens this game. And Tampa rolls. Point scores one. Kucherov scores one. But I'd only bet Braden Point just because I got to get my money back from what I lost last game.
Just because you
So
made me think Tampa, the Sorelli and Kaloran line was really good against Pittsburgh. They
that
had two
is
goals. Kaloran and
by
Sorelli had
far
one each.
That is by far my favorite DFS stack of all time. The Kaloran Point or Kaloran Sorelli and Stamkos, and they're all in the power play. Like
I think
that is,
those guys are probably worth a look too. Kaloran seems to be a lot of prop targets so far this season.
yeah. Though that's my favorite DFS stack line when I'm feeling it. But you can go ahead with your Columbus guys.
All right, now with the theory I talked about with honoring Kavinkis and all that. Sorry again if I'm butchering his name. That was always a tough one for me to pronounce. Normally good at pronunciations, but if you're in the boat that Columbus is gonna blow out Arizona at least by 3-4 goals, these player props here for these top line guys, they have good value. Now, I like Patrick Laine over half a point plus 100. I mean, I think that's tremendous value. He's going to be playing on the top line with Texier and Voracek. You got Roslovic over half a point minus 105. Werenski over half a point minus 110. Like those guys, especially Werenski, he's going to be quarterbacking the power play.
Yeah,
And here's a good sleeper play. Cole Sillinger on that third line, anytime goal scorer, plus 330. If you could find him for a point, I'm sure he's good value there too. I can't find books offering that. He's playing with Domi and Jenner. Now, he had a really good preseason, and he was their first round pick. Now, one of them at least. I think that's a good sleeper pick. And, if you think that they're going to get quite a few looks, value, man. I'm not guaranteeing Sillinger, but I think that that's one of the deep players of the night that you could get.
yeah.
So
I mean, You're good at finding those deep guys, and I think Corey Perry had his
Hey,
opportunities.
I didn't mention it, Lex. We skipped the DFS show yesterday, but once I put together a lineup, Hendricks Lapierre, he ended up scoring a goal.
Oh yeah, you did. I said that. I was like, "Hey, dude, the rookie scored the third goal for Washington." He's like, "He's in my lineup." I was like, crazy.
So, I mean, yeah, Roslovic over half a point, Line over half a point, Werenski over half a point. Like, I think those are all really worth it, to be honest. And then Sillinger for a goal, because why not? So those are
All
the
right.
props I like. And Jake mentioned
Um,
DFS stacks. If you got no other props, you want to get into what your DFS has for the night?
I don't have any DFS stacks tonight, but I don't know. I feel really confident with my lineup. I don't know what I'm feeling with it, but I do have Braden Point. I mean, he should be getting a point at least, I would think, against this Detroit team, but we'll see. Jeff Carter was on the board a lot last game, and I think there's goals in this game, and if there's going to be goals, Jeff Carter's going to be the one involved in it. So
Yeah.
I got Jeff Carter, Caulfield. I talked about Caulfield getting those shots, and I'm hoping he's getting a goal. Bjorkstrand, just because I mean, me and my stepdad like to talk about our guys, and we just always pick a guy to
Bjorkstrand's
score.
always been one of mine, too. I don't know why I
Yeah,
didn't pick him
yeah,
tonight.
Bjorkstrand's one of his
But I will.
guys, and it's Columbus against Arizona. I mean, I think they'd steamroll him, so hopefully Bjorkstrand's on the board. I have Kakinieme again. We talked about him already. Yossi talked about him. And then Heiskanen. Heiskanen is cheap, and he's gonna play. He's gonna play
He's
minutes.
going to
He's gonna
play
be
20, 22 minutes. Yeah.
yeah. He's gonna be an active defenseman. He's not like I think he's good for where his value is at. So I got him. And then we're on the Habs money line. It's Buffalo. I if the Habs I don't see the Habs losing at all tonight. So no matter what goalie was playing, I was playing the Habs goalie because I go based off wins. I know you can do it based off who's gonna get saves and stuff, but wins get you points. So I have no idea how to say Monta
Montembeau.
something. Okay, I guess it's not that hard.
Montembeau.
Yeah. So I got him a goalie, and then super cheap guy who has a real shot to score and on the power play too is Capo Caco. He's only like 3,000, and he's
You just muted yourself.
dang. I don't know how that happened.
Me neither.
Rangers are deep, and he's on that second power play unit, so hopefully he slides in a point for me.
All right, I like it. My guys, you talk about cheap. I found some cheap ones too, so I could fit some expensive ones. Why on earth is the Bennett Huberto Tippett line so cheap on DFS? Huberto's like 5,300, Bennett's 4,500, and Tippett, he's 4,700, 3,700, something like that. They're all super cheap. And I could fit that whole line on there. I think that they're all, I have props on them. I think they're definitely going to get on the score sheet. If not them, it's going to be the Barkov line. But I'm definitely huge on the second line to finish or keep going how they were at the end of last year. And then in the center department with Sam Bennett, I'm going to put Cole Sillinger from Columbus. That's another cheap guy you could put in there. And with that, that allows me to beef up the defense. I like Adam Fox. I think he's going to get a lot of shots. I think he might get a goal. He'll definitely get an assist. He'll factor into the scoring a ton. And Aaron Ekblad, I think, is what Florida gets a ton of shots. And Coach Q, watching him coach the Blackhawks for several years, they always get shots on net. The defense puts anything on net. Ekblad's going to get shots. He's going to get block shots. He might factor into the scoring. And if he does, that's going to be huge. And Ekblad's one of the guys I'm looking for the North. So I at the price, I'm gonna ride him a lot at the start of the year until he either gains a lot of value in terms of what they price him at, or if he actually just ends up stinking and I look like a complete clown. So that's my defenseman. One last winger, I got Artemi Panarin, and I think power play chances he's gonna get his shots as well. Him and Zibanejad will do his thing. I like the Rangers at home tonight. Caulfield against the Sabres, like he's gonna get shots, like Jake said. He has his shot prop as well. I think he probably factors in to the scoring one way or another. This is the one I like the most. My goaltender is Elvis Merzlikins. He named his kid after Matisse. This is a game he definitely wants to show up for right away. It's a favorable opponent against Arizona. I think, I'm maybe this isn't the way to go at all. Maybe Arizona scores some, but maybe even a shutout prop, right? Like I'm not gonna bet it, but I mean I think Merzlikins really shows up tonight for Matisse, and like I said, he named his kid's middle name Matisse. Like he saved his child. I think this game's gonna mean a lot to him, and I think he's gonna show up big time for Columbus. Jake,
Sorry, I just didn't want dogs to bark while you were talking.
you're good.
Yeah, I'm with it. I like it. I'm kind of looking towards playing the Columbus goalie now after that
Right.
inspirational speech there. But
All
yeah,
right, so
I'm
that's
excited for
DFS.
tonight. Let's hope we have a better night all around. And
And again, the little tip we always like to give out: do single entry for DFS because you don't have to deal with all the professionals in there that throw 20 fit to 50 lineups out in there.
which one
That's
did you
annoying.
enter? The 5K one
That
timer?
$1 single entry. That's
Oh, you did a
starting
dollar.
small.
Oh, so yeah, I did the. It's
1,500 people in there.
I did the five
All right,
dollar like one timer. It's called one timer and it's single entry. So it's my favorite one. It's
gotcha.
got like
All
1,000
right,
people in it.
so that's daily fantasy for today in the NHL. And before we close up the show, we can't forget best bets. So we'll take ourselves over to the best bet category. And I said I was going to make the Tampa game part of my best bet, and I am. I'm going to take them minus half a goal in the first period, plus $1.15. I think they're going to get it done. They're going to want to start better. I think Detroit's probably going to end up starting slow to an extent. I think that first period's just going to keep going for Tampa Bay. And yeah, I'm going to ride this Tampa Bay first period because that's the bet I've liked the most over the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I guess you.
Did you have the same thing?
No. I'm
Okay.
stuck between two here, but I've been talking a lot about choosing one of your best bets. Like you have so many bets, and it's like which one is the favorite. So I'm between two, and since you said whichever one I liked the longest is the one I'll go with. You just said you liked it for 24 hours or whatever. So I'm gonna stick with the Rangers over 6. I'm hoping
All
I at least
right.
get a push there, if not a win. Hoping that game goes pretty deep. 3-3 would be ideal. And my second choice was the Kraken money line, but I'll stick with the one I've liked the longest.
All right, so Jake's on the over 6 in Dallas at the Rangers. I'm on Tampa Bay first period minus half a goal. And thank you for joining us here today on Royal Bettors. We will be live tomorrow, Friday, October 15th at 9 a.m. right here on this very YouTube channel. If you like what you heard through today's show, be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at Royal Bettors. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Give us a like. Be sure to follow us individually on Twitter. We have our little name. My finger can never find it there. And yeah, there's our headshots nice and blown up as we say goodbye to you guys.
You were pointing right at it, but
Jake, you got any farewell words?
let's have a good night.
Let's have
Let's
a good
have
night.
a positive night.
Let's turn this puppy around because it's
Let's
been
at
a rough
least have a
start.
positive night for today. But
Everybody in the gambling community, let's turn things around because I know it hasn't been the best start to the NHL season for a lot of us. So for Jake Alder, I'm Jaric Rubel. We've been Royal Bettors. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be live tomorrow at 9 a.m. to break down a 3-game Friday card in the NHL. Take care.